Why don't people change? Even when we know what's good for us, even when we know that we are in a self-destructive spiral, even when we know that we're not living up to our best potential and we are doing things that go against our principles and that go against what we committed to ourselves, we still don't change. And one aspect, now obviously this isn't everything because there are always a lot of different factors to consider. So one aspect is that it took a lot of years of repetition to create our patterns that we're living. It took a lot of years of doing the same things over and over again, of having the same thoughts over and over again, of having the same behavior, the same relationship dynamics, and emotional responses over and over and over and over again. It literally is hardwired into our bodies. We literally, physically change according to these patterns. Our brain is filled with neural networks. The more we access those particular networks, the more well-traveled those paths become, and the more they become more like freeways, highways. They get bigger, they get more established, they get easier to use. So that's the one aspect. The other aspect within the physical programming is that the emotional responses actually crystallize in our bodies. If you look into the effects of water crystals and things and how words will shape water crystals, you'll see an interesting thing, which is that the physical responds to who we are. Our bodies respond to the things that we're thinking and saying and doing. And this is, in one sense, what contributes to headaches, to body aches, to illnesses, to developing things like cancer. It obviously, again, it's not everything. It's not the whole picture. It's not the only reason. There's always a lot of different reasons. And yes, a lot of them will be environmental and will be the food you eat and what exercise you do or don't do, etc., etc. But it would be ignorant of us to disregard the power of how we live within us, who we are, what we're thinking, what we pay attention to, what we're feeding within ourselves. Because it's not just something that happens in this invisible realm in our heads where these thoughts are running around and the emotions come up within us and we're feeling certain things and we are reacting in certain ways. It's not invisible and it's not without effect. It's not without consequence. Everything that we do has consequence, whether we are aware of that consequence now or later or maybe only after we die. There is a consequence, and we've become very good at ignoring these consequences and explaining them away and blaming everything else and losing touch with that truth that we are the creators of us. We are the ones who determine in every single way who we will be, what we will do, and how we will speak and behave and think. That's us. So next time you get frustrated with yourself or with someone else because you just are not getting this change thing down, remember that it requires a very large amount of time and practice and deliberately rewiring ourselves. So I'm not saying that it's impossible. It absolutely is possible. And once we kind of get to that point where we've proven to ourselves, all right, I can change, it becomes a little bit easier. It's always, it's like that self-belief, that self-judgment, that self-definition of I can't change is a big thing that holds a lot of us back. So the moment you start realizing, oh, it really is up to me, I really can determine how I respond to every situation, well, the more we're empowering ourselves and the more we actually give ourselves the space to practice that change and to make mistakes and sometimes to fall, but also to learn about ourselves and to learn about what works for us and what doesn't work for us. All right, thank you very much for watching. You're going to see me next time.